The Unbound Princess. Chapter 1. A Gilded Life. In the heart of the kingdom of Avaria, Princess Ellara stood on the balcony of her father's grand castle, gazing out at the rolling hills bathed in golden sunlight. At 20 years old, she was the eldest child of King Theron, a wise but weary ruler whose health had begun to fade. Ellara was tall and graceful, with auburn hair cascading down her back and emerald eyes that sparkled with intelligence. She was beloved by her people for her kindness and admired by the court for her sharp mind. Yet, beneath her regal demeanor, Ellara harbored a secret longing to explore the world beyond the castle walls, to study the ancient magic rumored to thrive in distant lands, and to live a life unshackled by duty. Her father, however, had other plans. "Elara," he said one evening in the throne room, his voice frail but firm, "it is time you chose a husband. The kingdom needs stability, and you need an heir." Beside him stood Lord Gavrick, a pompous noble from a neighboring duchy, his smile as oily as his intentions. Elara's stomach churned. She didn't love Gavrick or any of the suitors paraded before her. She dreamed of a life where her choices were her own, but as the heir to Avaria, such freedom seemed a distant fantasy. That night, as she paced her chambers, Elara whispered to herself, "There must be more than this gilded cage." Chapter 2. The Storm of War. The peace of Avaria shattered 3 days later. Horns blared at dawn, and the castle trembled as enemy forces breached the outer defenses. King Valthor of Dravenhold, a tyrannical ruler from the north, had launched an invasion. His banners, black with a crimson serpent, fluttered in the wind as his soldiers stormed the gates. Elara raced to her father's side, clad in a simple tunic and wielding a dagger she'd learned to use in secret. "We must fight," she urged, but Theron shook his head. "You must survive," he said, pressing the royal seal into her hand. "Flee to the southern provinces and rally our allies." Before she could protest, the throne room doors burst open. Dravenhold soldiers flooded in, their armor clanking like a death knell. Elara fought valiantly, felling 2 men before a blow to her head sent her sprawling. Darkness claimed her as rough hands dragged her away, the cries of her people fading into silence. Chapter 3. The Luxurious Prison. When Elara awoke, she found herself in a spacious chamber, adorned with silk drapes and a 4-poster bed. Sunlight streamed through a barred window, illuminating a view of Dravenhold's jagged mountains. Her wrists bore no chains, but the locked door and armed guards outside told her the truth. She was a prisoner, albeit one kept in comfort. King Valthor visited her that evening. He was a towering man with a scarred face and cold gray eyes. "Princess Ellara," he said, his voice smooth as venom, "you are a prize worth keeping. Marry me, and I'll spare your kingdom further bloodshed. Together, we'll rule both realms." Elara straightened, defiance blazing in her chest. "I'd sooner wed a serpent than you." Valthor's smile tightened. "You'll see reason in time," he said, then left her alone with her thoughts and her growing resolve to escape. Chapter 4. The Guard with a Heart. Days passed in captivity, each one a test of Elara's patience. Her only regular visitor was her guard, a young man named Aidan. He was lean and broad-shouldered, with dark hair and hazel eyes that held a flicker of kindness. Unlike the other guards, he didn't sneer or bark orders. Instead, he spoke to her softly, bringing her books or extra blankets when the nights grew cold. One evening, as he delivered her supper, Elara tested him. "Do you enjoy serving a tyrant?" she asked. Aidan hesitated, then met her gaze. "I serve because I must. My family depends on my wages, but I don't agree with Valthor's ways." His honesty surprised her. Over the next few weeks, their conversations deepened. Aidan revealed he was from a poor village in Dravenhold, conscripted into service to feed his siblings. Ellara shared her dreams of freedom and her fears for Averia. A fragile trust blossomed between them, and with it, the seed of a plan. Chapter 5. Voices of the Captive. Ellara soon learned she wasn't Valthor's only prisoner. Through Aidan, she met others confined in the castle's lower levels, disgraced nobles, rebel spies, and common folk who defied the king. One was Mara, a sharp-tongued seamstress whose husband had been executed for dissent. Another was Lord Terran, a minor noble from Dravenhold who'd opposed Valthor's taxes. They gathered in secret, whispering through cracks in the walls, and their stories ignited a fire in Elara's heart. My people suffer too, she realized, but I never saw it from my throne. She vowed not just to escape, but to end Valthor's reign, for Averia and Dravenhold alike. Chapter 6. A Plan Takes Shape. With Aidan's help, Ellara mapped the castle's layout. He smuggled her a dagger and sketched the guard rotations on a scrap of parchment. She discovered a hidden passage behind her fireplace, a relic of the castle's older days, and tested it late at night, finding it led to a dusty storeroom near the outer walls. Meanwhile, in Averia, Sir Roland, Elara's loyal knight, gathered a rescue party. Word of her capture had spread, and hope flickered among her people. But Elara wasn't content to wait. "We strike from within," she told Aidan. "If we free the others, we can start a rebellion." Aidan nodded, his jaw set. "I'm with you." Chapter 7. The Night of Flight. The escape was set for a moonless night. Elara slipped through the passage, Aidan at her heels, and they freed Mara, Terran, and a dozen others from their cells. But as they reached the courtyard, a guard spotted them. Alarm bells rang, and chaos erupted. Elara fought fiercely, her dagger flashing, while Aidan shielded her from arrows. They reached the outer gate, but freedom lay just beyond a sea of soldiers. "Go!" Aidan shouted, pushing her toward the woods. But Elara stopped, her heart pounding. "Not without you, and not without a fight." She turned back, rallying the freed captives. "For our homes, our lives, stand with me." Chapter 8. The Rebels' Cause. Instead of fleeing to Averia, Elara and her band sought the rebels of Dravenhold, a ragtag group hiding in the mountains. Their leader, a grizzled woman named Kess, eyed Elara warily. "A princess among us? You'll bring Valthor's wrath." "I'll bring his end," Elara replied. Her determination and the captive's support won Kess over. With Aidan's knowledge of the castle and Elara's royal authority, they forged a plan to overthrow Valthor. Messengers were sent to Averia, linking the rebellion with Sir Roland's forces. Chapter 9. The Serpent's Fang. Elara learned of a relic in Valthor's possession, the Serpent's Fang, a dagger imbued with dark magic that amplified his power. She and Aidan infiltrated the castle to steal it, disguised as servants. The mission was perilous. Guards lurked at every corner, and Valthor's paranoia had grown. They found the Fang in his private chambers, glowing with an eerie light, but as they seized it, Valthor himself appeared. "You dare defy me?" he roared, drawing his sword. Elara clutched the Fang, its power surging through her, and parried his blow. Aidan tackled the king, giving her time to flee. They escaped by a hair, the Fang now a weapon for their cause. Chapter 10. Shadows of Doubt. The rebellion grew, but tension brewed within. A spy leaked their plans, and an ambush cost them lives. Suspicion fell on Aidan. His Dravenhold roots made him a target. "I'd never betray you," he told Elara, his voice breaking. She believed him, and together they unmasked the true traitor, Lord Terran, coerced by Valthor's promises. The betrayal stung, but it solidified Elara's trust in Aiden, and something deeper began to stir between them. Chapter 11. The Battle for Freedom. The final assault came at dawn. Rebels and Avaria's army stormed Dravenhold's castle, clashing with Valthor's forces. Elara wielded the Serpent's Fang, its magic cutting through enemy lines, while Aiden fought at her side. In the throne room, she faced Valthor alone. "You'll never cage me again," she declared, striking him down with a burst of the Fang's power. The tyrant fell, and the castle was theirs. Chapter 12. The Weight of Victory. Elara returned to Avaria a hero, greeted by cheers and her father's frail embrace. But the throne loomed like a new prison. "I can't live for duty alone," she confessed to Theron. He smiled weakly. "Then don't. Make the kingdom yours, and yours alone." Aiden stood by her, his presence a comfort. Their bond had deepened into love, a quiet strength born of shared trials. Chapter 13. A Realm Reborn. Elara didn't abdicate, but she transformed Avaria. She established a council to share power, freeing herself to study magic and travel with Aiden, now her consort. Together, they forged peace with Dravenhold, uniting the realms. On her coronation day, she looked out at her people, not as a captive princess, but as the unbound queen she'd become.